Hi everybody, this is Jeff, the business guru, coming to you downtown Manila. Now, it's another stinking hot day here, but that's okay. We move on. Our guest is all the way from the States, and where she is, it's around 9:30 at night. For me, it's 9:30 in the morning. We've got a lovely lady, Terise Lang, and Terise is very good at what she does. She's a health and wellness speaker, coach, and writer. Right? I want to tell you a bit about her. She's in the health and wellness space, of course. She's been doing this for a long, long time now, guys, 25 years plus on sharing wellness tips. And as you know, guys, health is wealth. You want to know more about this, especially you ladies out there, reach out. Teresa's very approachable. Reach out, have a cup of coffee, have a chat, and, you know, she might have a solution to your problem, and you might be able to help each other. So reach out, have a casual chat. Costs you nothing, guys. And remember, as I said, health is wealth. Description of her business: through public speaking and live stream events, one-on-one coaching and newsletters, I work to transform the lives of professional women of colour, 40 plus, so they can consistently improve their self-care and rediscover and experience more joy, health, energy, and I'm getting enthused already, and enthusiasm about their lives and their relationships. What a great mission you're on, Terise. That's awesome. Key achievements: weekly LinkedIn res stream, Gather at the Heath, a podcast host, and bi-weekly Savvy, Sleek, and Sassy. Wow, I love that. LinkedIn newsletter author, LinkedIn live video host of Phenomenal Femmes show. Right. Currently working on a book that addresses how a wellness focus can combat the negative effects of systematic racism. And isn't that so true? Personal motto philosophy: empowering professional women 40 plus to shift from okay to hooray. How cool is that? I love that. That's a great slogan. Now, interesting fact about it herself, she's going to tell us that later. And it's my great pleasure to welcome to the stage Terise Lang. How are you, Terise?
Hi, how are you, Jeff? I'm so excited to be here. Thank you.
Oh,
I love listening to your voice. I could probably listen to it all night, but we don't have all night.
we do. For me, I do, but you probably don't. I got to tell you an awesome story about that. I went to the States when I'm looking for my main sheet, by the way. I've lost my main sheet. Can you believe this? I've lost my main sheet, and I had it here, and someone has moved it. Anyway, I'll tell you the story while I'm looking at my sheet, and I'm hoping the heck I find it. Here we are. Oh, I found it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I went to the States at the height of Crocodile Dundee, and I kid you not. When I opened my mouth, I had about 50 people following me around like a cheer squad wherever I went. I hardly paid for anything. It was drinks, food. People just want to say, just talk.
So you had instant celebrity.
Absolutely. I was only about 40. You know, it was unbelievable. You know, it was pretty cool. And the funny thing is, this is a true story, guys. In Australia, I've always been a salesperson since I was about 25. In Australia, I tell people I'm a salesperson. You shake their hand and people go 1, 2, 3. They count their fingers to make sure you didn't steal one, right? When you told people in the States you're in sales, they go, oh, tell us your story. And they actually gather around with admiration. And I noticed it was so different. The attitude regarding sales, Australia versus the States, was incredible, you know. And sadly, I've never been back. I've got it on my radar. My next quest is 77. So end of this year, I'm thinking about seriously hitting the trail again and going all over the States and having a cup of coffee with all the guests I've interviewed, some 300 of them so far. That's one of my missions. So I'm going to start. I'll put it all through ChatGPT, see where the people live, and then I'll say that's where the most are. I'll start there and just work my way around. Pretty cool.
That sounds exciting. You would be welcome here. I would welcome you, definitely.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's going to be a cool thing to meet these people in person because I got such wonderful guests. My best one was recent. Was a gentleman, 80. He looked about 40. He was a personal trainer to the stars in Hollywood, and he had some bloody interesting stories. He's a cool guy, really cool guy. And another lady the other day told me something you're going to love, Terise. She said, ready? Be a better human. And I thought, how good is that? If everybody was a better human, what a great world it would be. You know, so
dear to my heart. dear to my heart when she said that.
Oh, absolutely. Well, it elevated me too. I thought, wow, what a great, I've got to share that with the world. That's a great thing. Be a better human. That was bloody awesome. Right. And she's such a nice lady. All right, let's get started on you, Terise. Let's go back to you and I. Tell
Okay.
us about your journey and um, what what inspired you to pursue your current career all those years ago? Well, what happened?
I tell you what, when I was a little girl, I kept noticing how, we knew a lot of people. We didn't have much money, but it was kind of more of a neighborhood feel. But I noticed that Mr. So and so died of a heart attack. So and so had cancer.
Oh,
Someone else had diabetes.
oh,
Someone else, and I'm like, wait a minute. Why is everyone always getting sick? And
yeah.
they get sicker and sicker. And then I talked to some of them and they said, well, yeah, the doctor said I should stop smoking. The doctor said I should do this, do that. I'm going to one day, and one day never came.
Yes.
And I got kind of tired of going to funerals. And not only that, but I was fortunate enough to have a mother who, one of the first earliest memories of her was of her doing exercises, isometrics, she used to call them.
Yep.
And she did exercises, right? And so, and I was always active though. I mean, I loved to dance and I would run and I would skate and I would do everything. And then in high school, we got into things like yoga. Now, I didn't do the spiritual part of yoga, but I did the physical part of it. And I said, boy, this makes you a little more limber. And since then, I've tried Tai Chi and Pilates and a
Oh,
whole bunch of different things. So there was a natural interest in health. We didn't have much money, so my mother taught us, well, exercise. My dad was a pretty smart guy. And so what they did, they got together and they said, well, we don't have much money, but we'll make the meals as healthy as they can be. So she drained all the dreadful oils from the meat because I had a sensitive stomach too. And so things like that happened. So I got in the habit of eating well. And then when the vegetarian, thing hit, like everyone wanted to be a vegetarian, I'm like, yay, because I didn't like eating little animals, right? So I was fine with it. My dad said, well, when you leave this house, since this is all I can afford right now, but when you leave this house, if you want to be a vegetarian, you can. And I was pretty strictly vegan for quite a while, but I found it because I don't handle dairy. I'm lactose intolerant. It was kind of hard balancing my protein. So, okay, so I said, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to eat fish occasionally. So I kind of became a pescatarian, but most of the time I still eat vegan. And I drink lots of water and do stuff like that because I said what I noticed was like, look, and I tell ladies, how do you feel when you eat a whole bunch of junk and you don't take care of yourself?
yeah.
Now compare that to when you for a couple of days you really do, you drink more water, somebody has salad around or even lean meats or just something that's better for you. How do
Yep.
you feel then?
Yep.
Big difference. Oh, looks like you've got a picture there.
Yep.
Big difference, right? When you take care of yourself, you can feel it. And then I also noticed, though, that it was much more than just the physical part. Because the women I knew who were depressed, often, frankly, just mean, oh, I said, you know what? I noticed that they don't take care of themselves
Yes.
because this and this are connected. If
Yeah.
you don't respect the connection between mind and body, I mean, absolutely, you notice a difference. Depressed people also have physical symptoms, and doctors will tell you that, and vice versa. So you have to take care of the whole unit. And then it went beyond that because then I noticed that people, maybe they did like, I knew people who ran health spas. Yeah, they ran health spas, but they had no spiritual life.
Yes.
And to me, I mean, this isn't for everybody. Some people are atheists or whatever on the spectrum, whatever they're doing.
Yep.
I need God in my life. And so I always refer to the higher power. I said, look, you're going to stress yourself out thinking that you have to handle everything. You do what you can. You can't control other people. And the stuff you can handle, you hand it over. So then that was the spiritual part, the soul part. And so that was mind, body, soul. And then the fourth one, not it's I'm mentioning it last, but it's so important for women because, and I believe it's connected to our ability to have children, to bring life into the world. We learn how to love whatever comes out there. So our relationships, we are relationship oriented. We are social creatures. Actually, all of man is social, but the society has emphasized, women, getting into their little coffee clutches and stuff. I'm glad that guys are starting to have, like, their bro meetings or whatever they do. Go fishing, go watch a game. Do those things, because for men that's important, and for women, of course, it's really important. So that's the relationship part. And there are a lot of women of color who are lonely. 60% of us never get married, at least in the US.
Mm.
And so that you can tell that, I mean, there's a lot of factors involved with that. I'm not talking about the women who just decided marriage isn't for me. I don't want to deal with it. I just want to be, have my independence. Before most of the women, they want that important, that key relationship in their life. My husband's very important to me, and I'm very open about it. Do we have a perfect marriage? No, whatever that is.
Anyway,
But I'm just happy
yeah.
to that he cares. We do the best we can. We misunderstand each other sometimes. We have to talk it out. I try to understand his need to cave. He's got his man cave. He does his thing, and that's okay, because that's just a part of the male psyche, and that's fine. And then he comes back refreshed because he got to, do his chest beating with his bros, and it works much better. And then he doesn't feel henpecked, and because I guess that gets to men. But and anyway, go ahead. Did I even answer your question? I'm just going on and on.
You go on for out. That's awesome. I love the journey. It's pretty fantastic. What's been the most challenging aspect of your work, and how are you overcoming that? Here we go.
When you have a society that oppresses a group,
Right.
there's lots of depression, and after a while there's that despair is a bad mother. Okay, hope is a beautiful thing. It
Yeah.
is a beautiful thing, but when you have oppression and you have negative images perpetuated by the media, and then this and that and the other, and the lies, and the after a while, the profiling that we go through and all of that, and I don't know how many times I've gone through the security line, and we have to open your purse, and we have to do all these things and watch and look at you, because
Wow.
why? I mean, it's incredible what my husband goes through sometimes. He's a tall guy. And
Yeah.
when they see a tall, oh no, he must be bad. I knew a guy who was built like a linebacker. Okay, matter of fact, he could have been the line. He was a pretty big dude. Brilliant,
Yeah.
wonderful sense of humor, great personality, and everyone was scared of him when they didn't. We were the only two black people there,
Yeah.
and I said, did you ever sit down and just talk to him? Just talk to him. He's a great guy. You're missing an opportunity, but all they saw was big black guy, threat. Watch out. It's just so silly. They miss knowing a great guy.
Yeah.
And that works both ways too. That sometimes black people can get into thinking that everyone who's white is bad,
Yeah.
and then that adds to the stress. And that's just not true. It's not true.
Tell me.
Anytime you attribute a negative characteristic to an entire group of people, you're doomed to be wrong. You're
Yes.
doomed to be wrong
Tell me.
about some of them.
Is it
Oh, go ahead.
Is it improving?
Pardon me.
Is it improving? The whole thing.
Has it been? Oh, in my life, it's been proven. In
Yeah.
my life, it has been proven. Yes, absolutely. When you think, oh, well, all those people, they're bad. And it's like, no, they're not. I'll give you an example. There was something dragging under my tire when I was driving, and I was getting scared, and I pulled over. It's pouring rain. This guy steps out of the car. He looked like everybody from, I mean, he looked like old, like kind of an old Bubba is what we would call, with the big cowboy hat and everything. He's approaching me, and I think, okay, I'm doomed. I'm going to get killed or something. No, what does he do? He steps out of his car in the pouring rain to help me. He's looking under the car. He pulls this box from it. And I said, oh, thank you so much. He said, nothing to it, right? Now, see, if I had stuck to my thought of, oh no, I don't want him to deal with him, I would have missed the opportunity to once again be reminded that that kind of thinking doesn't work.
Right.
Of course, we do, as we grow through our lives, we get a pretty good radar too, right?
Yeah.
Of people that probably are okay to approach, and others who aren't.
Yeah.
But I guess my whole point here is that when it comes to relationships, we need to be a little more open-minded about relationships and people who are really good to us. And sometimes they look like us, and sometimes they don't. And sometimes people look completely different from the way they are. I mean, they can look really intimidated and be like little, little bears or something, warm and cuddly. So you just never know. But by keeping our minds closed, then we lose opportunities. And I don't want to see that happen. And I also know what it does to us because we are all connected. See, because we have one, to me, one higher power that created all of us. So we're all connected. So when we try to cut off part of that, there's that thing missing. And then we lose the opportunity to be as happy and fulfilled as we can in our relationships, protecting ourselves, worrying about what someone's going to think, worrying about what they're going to say, instead of just saying, you know what? Let me give this person a chance.
No,
Anyway, if that makes any sense. But
well,
that's why I chose those four pillars of mind, body, soul, and heart, because through my life experience and also training, I do have a medical background as a radiation therapy technologist. Was always interested in sciences. I love sci-fi, by the way. Like I eat it like like steak, like someone would eat steak. And I have I guess I just have an enthusiasm for life, and it's not because my life's been easy. It has been very difficult. But see, what do? Do you focus on all the funk? Do you just sit around and just focus and steep in it? Oh, my life's hard, and then, or do you say, you know what? Tomorrow, and I do this every day. I mean, I've had some funky days, but I get up every morning
oh,
and I'm almost annoyingly cheerful, my husband says, because it's a new day.
absolutely. Enjoy, embrace it. That's right. You can't control yesterday, but you can control today and tomorrow. Right? Tell us about an important moment in your career that aha moment that changed your direction all those years ago. Tell us what happened.
That changed. I always knew that I wanted to do something in the realm of the health space,
Mhm.
and I also wanted to do something with people.
Yes.
But the main thing that changed, that made me say I'm going to focus on women of color who are older, is that I just noticed how we were treated as a whole. And
Yeah.
it's just sucked, frankly. It was terrible.
Mhm.
And I saw the images on TV, the shows, the movies, and I'm like, you know what? I can't handle it. I came home one day for lunch and I'm going, okay, good. It was the beginning of a vacation. I said, okay, I'm just going to chill. I'm going to have a good time. I turn on the TV. I must have turned the channel about 12 times. I said, there's nothing on there that lifts me up. I saw women of color crying and they were screaming and their houses were flooding because they had been lied to about the structure of the house, that they were getting evicted, their kids were getting killed. I said, okay, I
Yeah.
have to do something to elevate our community. We can do that. Some people have. We need to have more of a network.
Yes.
And we will work with anyone who will support that. So I'm not, you know what I mean? I focus on, because I understand intimately the problems that professional Black women face. And I'll tell you why that's important, because a lot of times I thought, oh, well, why? She's got a PhD. That's an MD PhD. She's got this, she's got that. They're just as miserable because they're not treated, they're not respected
Mm.
according to what they've accomplished or achieved. So
Yeah.
I said, well, we'll support each other. And I'm constantly saying it. I sound like a broken record. I
Yep.
don't care. We have to support each other, because there's what happens when you have all this oppression is there's a scarcity mentality. It's like it's you or me, instead of saying, well, you know what, since there's only this much to go around right now, if we pool our resources, if we pool our intellect, our experience, our creativity, think about it, we work together and everybody ends up with more. That's what happens. We end up with more, not less, when you share information. And that's why I'm always sharing it. And a lot of things that I assumed women knew, they didn't,
Yeah.
about their safety, about cybersecurity, about their bodies, about their rights as patients when they go to the hospital or the doctor, that kind of thing. It's like, this is what I'm here for. I'm giving you information because then it's empowering, and you share that and they share that. And
Mhm.
it's like the candle, you light the candle and the next person lights a candle, and then the whole room's lit up instead of the alternative.
Yeah. Tell me, In your opinion, what are the key qualities and skills that have helped contribute to your amazing success? What do you believe is behind all that? Obviously, determination's one.
Oh man, yeah. I asked my father once, what's my strength? He said survival. He said, you're just determined to survive. Um, for one thing, I am passionate about helping people. I am an empath. That is a real thing, by the way. I can feel for other people,
Yeah.
whether they look like me or not. The other thing is I am insatiably curious, have always been. We have a series of books here in the U.S. called Curious George. I don't know whether you do or not. But I read the whole shelf of Curious George books when I was little because I was that curious. And so since I've always wanted to learn, I've always read, and I've read, I don't know how much, I don't know. I've taken so many courses. I've read so many things aside from college and my medical training, and I was a flight attendant supervisor also, that kind of thing. I'm always learning, and then I'm also always willing to ask questions. See, I don't care if I sound stupid. I don't care if I've asked the same question. People say, "Well, didn't I tell you that?" And saying, "Yes, you did. I forgot what you said. I'm asking you again."
That's right.
I can't be shamed into not asking a question.
I,
And so that also makes me listen to people when they want to know something from me,
very important.
because I know how it feels when someone doesn't let you learn what you want to learn. And by combining that, and I have a natural curiosity. I had a natural gift for somewhat for science and math, and so I just kind of put it all together. That with what plus a lifetime of doing some form of exercise, and also just believing and just developing the whole person. I just had this in my mind from the time I was little. I don't want just an intellect or knowledge up here. I want to develop my body. I want to develop my relationships. I want a whole life. I remember kids saying, I want my life to be whole. So I don't know if that makes sense, but
Makes a lot of sense. You're an awesome guest. Tell us about a recent project, amongst your many, a recent project or achievement you're particularly proud of, Terise.
it would have to be my Gather at the Hearth audio series that I do, because I've actually had people on there. First of all, I don't know what it is. God has blessed me with some amazing guests. Okay. I'm always looking for them. I've had amazing speakers and guests, and I just seem to have an intuition for finding people who are not only knowledgeable and expert in their areas, but they have such heart. They actually care about somebody.
Passions.
And yeah, that's I'm telling you, that's really crucial, because I have met some people who were experts, but they were just like sticks of wood. I'm like, yeah, do you know that do you know that what you do affects people? And so if it was like that, I didn't have them on. But that I am proud of that series, because people have responded to it, they have watched, they have learned, they have become interested in doing more for themselves. And that and my newsletter, because a lot of people come back and they say, I didn't know this, I didn't know that. Just like I was talking about bird song the other day, believe it or not, which has been scientifically proven to indicate to the human mind, like if you listen to it, it's not just the beauty and the rhythm of it, but it sends a signal to the brain that you're safe. And that's why it's relaxing, and that's why it reduces stress, because birds will usually vacate a place.
Absolutely.
Right? Have you probably noticed that, like, if there's a storm coming, it gets eerily quiet.
Yeah, that's right.
Uh, right.
They know. They know. And we should trust our gut. You're talking about life. That your second brain, boys and girls, is your gut. And learn to trust your gut. It took me many, many years, but learn to trust your gut, because it's like a warning system, like a radar. I
It
always,
really is. But you have to pay attention to it. And when you ignore it, and I have to, unfortunately, a couple of times I've had to learn the hard way, you
oh,
should have listened to that first ding, as it's there for a reason, and it is a gift. It's a gift, and everyone has it. I think some people have it's like anything else, right? Some people are intelligent in different areas, or they have different IQ levels, and some people are incredibly intuitive and they learn how to listen to that.
yes.
And it's not spooky ooky. It's really human, to have that. And I think it ties back to primitive man, Before we had written language, before we had all this technology, we had to figure out whether we were in enemy territory or whatever. And so you develop an instinct. And women, because their babies can't talk, have to be able to sense when there's something wrong or when the baby needs something or when they're happy or whatever.
Yeah. Same as a pet. Pet can't talk, but you'll know by the way that the way they're acting, and you just got to read the signals. Same as and you know this more than most. Even your own body is talking to you every day. If you wake up with a sore neck, there's a reason. So now you've got
There's
to
a reason.
did I sleep wrong with the wrong pillow?
Uh-huh.
Did I twist my neck too quickly?
Exactly. Ouch. Yeah,
Oh,
I have exercises for that too. But yeah, but that's the main thing that you're absolutely right. We have to listen to our bodies, and I definitely do.
yeah.
And not only listen, but do something about it. If you can do something about it, because some people they feel it, they listen to it, and yeah, they know it's there, but did you take any action? If you're exhausted, did you get a little extra sleep? You know what I'm saying? You can't just say, "Oh, gee, look at there. I'm almost, falling out." Do something about it so that your body, because your body definitely heals between the hours of 10 and 2, 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. is when the healing hormones are active. And so when you get sleep during those hours, you boost your immune system. And it also monitors the cortisone hormone, the cortisol, which can help you with your weight maintenance. And I try to tell people this. It's like, we're not just, I'm not just talking out of my, what. It's real. There's really a scientific and medical basis for the things that I say. So,
My medicine, Therese, I tell people all the time. The ones who want to listen, I say, forget about all the pills and potions and most out there. I say my medicines are water, chicken and vegetable soup, right? Sunshine and exercise.
I love it.
It won't fix broken bones, but I tell you what, guys, I'll fix most other ailments. We're supposed to be all water, so have more water. Water. The chicken soup is also water, but it's also got the nourishment in there. The sunshine,
Exactly.
indeed,
Exactly.
which you need, otherwise you will be tired. And the exercise
Exactly.
is self-explanatory, right? So
It is. And we're 60% water, but some babies are 75% water. So it's that critical. It's
yeah,
that critical.
absolutely. Replace it.
Mhm.
Tell us, what advice would you give a 20-year-old version of yourself who wanted to follow in your footsteps? What would you tell them?
I would tell them learn everything you can about your body, especially like if you're a woman, learn everything you can about your body. And when you go to the doctor, ask questions.
Oh,
Ask questions. You ever have a doctor just hand you a prescription? I know people do that. They just take it and they go home and start taking it. What what is it? What is it for? What are the side effects? Is there a natural alternative?
lovely.
What are
I
you going to say?
I use ChatGPT, and I broke my shoulder recently, and they gave me 5 different types of tablets. I'm thinking five. Do they talk? Do these tablets talk to each other? Right. Anyway, I put them through ChatGPT, and there was things like this. Oh, this may cause severe diarrhea. This may cause headaches. This may do this. And I thought, well, what about if I don't take them at all and just put up with a little bit of pain, right, and go back to my water and chicken soup routine? And I didn't take the tablets because the side effects were worse than the problem.
Exactly. Absolutely.
Often,
Absolutely.
guys, this here, take a pill and come back next week. That's just it's a routine, right? You don't need to be part of that routine. Looking ahead, what are your goals and aspirations for the future, Therese?
I want to keep doing what I'm doing until I see a lot more participation in supportive groups of women of color helping each other out and empowering each other. They have a few, they have some groups, but they tend to be kind of insular. They tend to be, the wealthier women of color who are like professionals, and that's great. But we also need to include, ye ordinary citizen and care as much about that person. We still need a lot more of a support structure, and that's what I want to still be a part of. And Also, just let people know what they can do, simple, ordinary things they can do every day so that they feel better instead of that automatic, oh, I don't feel good, I'll pop a pill. They go through 3 or 4 other steps before they would ever have to get to that point.
Fair
I
enough.
see a healthier and happier community because there's also what I call holistic thinking, where instead of just thinking it's this or this, you can find out there's lots of dimensions of ways of problem solving outside of that. And a lot of that comes from different people coming together to share their creative ideas for
Yeah,
problem solving.
100%. Um, Tell our listeners and people watching this wonderful podcast, what's the best
Yeah.
way to reach out to you, Terise, and have a chat and find out more about what you do?
Well, they can reach me on LinkedIn at any time. All I have to do is put my name in there. And I'm there, and I'm always connecting with people, and they can leave me a DM there.
Yep.
That's probably the easiest way. I'm also on Instagram if they want to go ahead and send me a hello or a photo of themselves.
Yep.
And the main thing is that I just want them to know that when I say that let's have a chat, that really is just a chat, just
Yeah.
to find out who you are first. Okay, I may not be the one to serve you. You may need like a therapist or a specialist in another area. I have met a lot of people and I can refer you, or maybe sometimes people just want someone to listen. Like this lady who said, she went through all this at work and she was tired of having to explain it, and
Yep.
she didn't have to explain it with me. I understood it, I had been through it, and so I could just listen because that is also healing.
Yeah, listen. It's let somebody listen. That's right. It's all about. That's why I love this podcast. Before we wrap it up, we can't let you go without you telling us a fun fact about yourself that most people don't know.
Well, in addition to being a speaker, I am a working voice artist. And so there are times that I will do, background voices for corporate videos, for small, commercials. And I mean, I've played, little kids to old,
Oh,
old men. I'm not kidding because it's just the voice. It's just the voice.
right.
And, I do a lot of voice exercises and I do different things and sometimes characters like, um, "Eh, what's up, Doc?" That kind of thing, because the cartoon characters I do. And a lot of people don't know that because they go, well, where does that voice come from? Well, it comes from being a smartass when I was little and
Yeah.
imitating the teachers, and I just thought it was
Ah,
fun. But I got good grades, otherwise I probably would have been in the principal's office half a dozen times.
yeah.
But I like voice work, and I believe that the voice is just one of those gifts that we have to that we should use responsibly, right? I like lifting people up with my voice. I like informing them with my voice, and sometimes entertaining, you know?
Well, I say, if you can't say something positive, say nothing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Silence is golden in that case.
Brizzy, you've been an awesome guest on the show today. I'd love to thank you for being here. And guys, if you want to have your 15 minutes of fame and tell your story, just like Teresa's done, and it's an awesome story. So guys, every man and woman's got a story. I don't care whether you're born with a silver spoon in your mouth. Life's not easy. There's always challenge, like a river. It's twisting and turning all the time. Like in my case, 4 weeks ago, I fell off a ladder and broke my shoulder. I wasn't expecting that, but it's just how life can change so darn quickly, right? And that put I was going to go on a jet ski the next day, so there was no more jet ski. But so guys, reach out just like Teresa has, and we'd love to have you on the show. And remember, we put you across all the social media channels. We put you on Snapchat, Quora, Reddit, LinkedIn, Facebook groups, and particularly YouTube with all your social media links, guys, and put you in front of potentially hundreds, if not thousands of potential clients. So there's the invitation, guys. Please feel free to reach out. Thanks, Therese. You've been an awesome guest today. Appreciate you.
And thank you, audience.